In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a logo for your laser using just 5 of the tools in Lightburn. My name is Gil, and in this video I'm going to show you how to quickly and easily create a professional looking logo for your laser using only 5 of the tools in Lightburn. This is perfect if you're just starting out and wanting to learn about Lightburn's features and how you can use them in a creative way. So whether you're just starting out or a seasoned pro, this video has something for everyone. By watching and learning from this tutorial, you are now a laserologist, a founding member of the Laser Livestream, which is a growing community of laser users who support and share their laser journey together. We would love it if you could join us and support this project by hitting that subscribe button and bell icon so you don't miss out on any of the upcoming projects and tutorials based around Lightburn. And if you want to get into the playing field and get the most out of your laser experience, you can join us here for the laser live streams that we host on this channel. They're a lot of fun to be a part of, and it's great to see people from all around the world coming together to share their laser experiences. You can also join us on our Facebook group, and the link is in the description below. I can't wait to see you on the laser live stream so we can talk more about lasers and Lightburn. And don't forget to answer the trivia question in the tutorial to win a prize and a thank you for being part of this community. Now let's get started breaking down on how you can make a logo in Lightburn with just 5 tools. Stay tuned. So today in this Lightburn tutorial, I'm going to show you how you can create a logo using just 5 of the tools. So I'm going to use the creation tools just so everyone understands that I'm talking about the tools on the left hand side bar. I am not counting things like copying and pasting. Well, for this tutorial, I'm going to consider the 5 tools to be the creation tools, which are everything that you can see right here. And today I'm going to create a logo that I've been meaning to place on my wall for quite some time. This is the logo from the film Brainstorm. I actually just revisited the film just last week on hearing that Douglas Trumbull had passed away. He was a cinematic legend when it came to visual effects, and this is one of 2 films that he made for Hollywood before deciding to go and spend his time developing new techniques. So for those of you who have never seen the film, I highly recommend it. It's a fantastic movie, and it stars Christopher Walken, Natalie Wood, Louise Fletcher. Yeah, man, this is a film that actually really influenced my work in a lot of ways. That's why I do a lot of even the tutorials that I do here on YouTube. It's all about being able to share an experience and empower you to be able to go and create whatever it is that you want. With the laser, the thing that I focus upon is being able to create those things that actually get a response out of people. So let's move on to the tutorial. I'm going to show you what we're going to replicate. It's very simple, but it is kind of unique in its own way. This is the only screen grab I could find of the logo of the company in the movie Brainstorm. You can see here it is kind of like a figure 8. It's actually quite a simple shape that we are going to replicate in Lightburn and has some text at the bottom. So I'm going to just minimize that. And in fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how I work. I'm going to bring this in here. Even though the image itself is skewed, it is not straight on. I can trace it. Let's increase this. Let's go and trace it. So I'm going to trace image. If I were to dial in all the different settings, try to get a decent trace on it. You can see there's a lot of stuff going on, but let's say for the sake of this we trace and we get this logo. Let me go turn off the show. You can see there's a lot of work that needs to be done here to try and get it into some sort of form that I can use, and it's also skewed, but I think we could be a lot faster just making a vector directly into Lightburn. So let's get rid of that. Let's bring that back up here. And what I like to do is I like to actually just bring it up to the top right hand corner, which allows me to work within this space. And one of the things that I like to do as well is just lock the selected shape. So this means I can still access it. I can't delete it. I can't move it around. So if I'm working in this space and I happen to select it and it gets deleted, doesn't necessarily have to happen. But as I'm working, if I want to take a look at that shape, all I have to do is just pull back out. So the very first creation tool that I'm going to use is the good old pen tool. We really don't need anything more than that at this point. And what I'm looking at here, if we zoom in, is that I want to, let me just zoom in a little bit. My plan of attack is to actually create this side of the lower shape. So I want to create this bottom piece and then this curvy piece. That's where we're going to start. So let's start with that. I'm going to zoom into the workspace, and using the pen tool, I'm just going to grab, put a dot down, and I'm going to hold the shift key. That's going to lock it in as a horizontal, which helps me out a little bit. That's the first one down, and then I see that the shape kind of comes up this way, and I'm going to try just eyeball it a little bit. We can change it up a little bit later if it doesn't work, but now I'm just going to do that horizontal. It's not a very big shape at the end, and now I'm just going to hit escape so we can get the select tool, our shape, and you can see that that looks nothing like that. But that's cool because we have a whole bunch of creation tools that we can fall upon, and you're going to see in a very short period of time, just a few steps, it's going to look a lot more like that. So the next tool that we're going to use, which we can find on the creation toolbar, happens to be the radius. So for this radius, I'm going to do the first one first, and I'm going to actually pump that up to 20, and I'm just going to turn that shape, that corner, I'm just going to put a radius onto it, and you can see already we've kind of copied that shape there, but there's a little bit of a radius at the top part here, so I'm going to actually just crank that down to 10 and put that in there. And again, you go back to the select tool, it doesn't look, you can kind of see it a little bit. In fact, 10 I'm not too happy about, so I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to actually make that radius tool, I'm going to make that 15, and we're just eyeballing it here. That's what I love about Lightburn and working with programs like this. At this point, we have something to work with. I'm going to refine it a little bit more. So I'm going to use, well, first of all, I'm going to get rid of that piece that's there. I think that piece is just on my screen. This is the third tool we're going to use, because we're going to do this with only 5 tools, right? So for the third tool, we're going to go to the Edit Node tool. And this is going to allow us to kind of push and pull the design the way it's been laid out here. I'm not going to do too much. All I'm going to do really is just drop this top down. I'm going to hold the shift key so I'm snapping to that vertical. I'm kind of, actually I think I'm going to pull this out just a little bit more. Just hit that snap again. We'll see how that goes. I'm actually happy with it. I'm thinking this might need a little bit of changing with the angle. But I'm going to leave it there, because until we get the parts put together, we're not going to know exactly what's going on. So that's the edit node. We're going to come back to the edit node in a little bit. So what we're going to do now is, very simply, with it selected, we're going to copy it by hitting Command C, and then we're going to paste it, Command V, and then we're actually going to use the horizontal mirror, which is Control Shift, the letter H, the horizontal tool, and you can see here that it gives us a mirror of exactly the same piece. And when we move this up, it's looking good. I like it. You can start seeing that it's starting to mirror shape. I don't know if that shape is a little, this angle here that I was a little worried about. You can see now with both of these here, it's looking, this angle here needs to kind of move up a little bit. So the fastest way to do that is I'm just going to undo those last positions, and in fact I'm going to take it all the way back to when I was drawing, and at this point I'm going to change up that angle just a little bit and give it a shot here. So you can see I drafted that angle a little bit sharper. You can do it many different ways. I find this to be the way I like to work because it also reinforces my workflow. I'm trying to learn new tools, right? So it's kind of cool. Let's go back to the radius tool, 15. We can definitely do that. Let's go select. Oh, see, check this out. Because we added something in here, because we didn't draw those lines together at the same time, we need to actually go up here to edit and auto join both paths. So what we should have now, if we click anywhere, it is one solid piece, which is what we want. Very important to do that. once we've selected it, let's hit the radius. 15 is back there. I'm going to change this to 20. Click that, and that is looking better to my eye. So with that, let's just quickly go into the node edit. I'm going to position this piece just generally around in the middle of where I think that opening is going to be. That node here, I'm just going to bring that down just a touch. We're going to select it again, copy it. That's Command C, paste it, Command V, move it up, and then it's Control Shift H, and that gives me that mirrored image. And this, wow, that's definitely looking better. I like that a lot. And now I can actually, just by eye, move to roundabout where I think that piece would fit. And of course I can select both of those and I can actually align them, which is a horizontal alignment. So I know that they are touching, and we're going to zoom in here and I'm going to show you what we do when we return to the node edit. And if we take this yellow marker here, I'm going to zoom right in, grab him, and then we actually bring him to the end, and you see how he's turned red? When I let go, that opposite piece is now joined. So I'm going to undo it really quickly. I'm just going to show you. You can just pretty much grab it, move it to the end of the other point. You want to put one point to another. Check out that left-hand side. Let go. It is now one piece. One piece. And that is the majority of our work done for us. We now have this piece, this lower piece, which to me looks a little bit like a beaker, which probably makes sense because in the movie, they're working for a scientific company. They're doing research for a better tomorrow. In fact, if anyone knows the name of the company in the film Brainstorm, please put it in the description. I don't think it exists. I asked quite a few friends to see if anyone knew the name of the company. We couldn't find it. But I think that's a little too hard a question for this tutorial. So I'm going to ask a different question, which is Christopher Walken is the star of Brainstorm. If you can tell me another science fiction film that Christopher Walken starred in just after Brainstorm in the 80s, put the name of the film in the comments below. You'll win yourself a prize. And in fact, we had a winner from our last tutorial as well. Don't Google it. Use your brain. I'll give you a hint. It was a film based off a very, very successful novel. And I'm curious to see who will be able to, just off the top of their head, know what the film was. Let's get back to designing this logo using just 5 tools in Lightburn. The next tool that's going to make our job really easy, and that is to select that beaker, and we're going to go to the offset tool. And I'm going to click on the offset tool here, and you can see here I already worked out the settings, but instead of just doing it one way, and you can see it's actually done it all automatically. There's a couple of things here that you can change. If you round it out, the tops become nice, small, and smooth. We don't want to do that. We can see that in the logo here, it's completely cut off. I originally was going to have another step where we use the Boolean tools to get that flat, until I realized that the bevel command will actually give you exactly what you want. So at this point, we are offsetting the distance at 9. Let's actually say 10 for the sake of it. We'll do a nice round number. We're going both inward and outward. So we're getting basically the shape of the logo. If we hit OK, all we need to do now is just select that middle path, delete it, and I think we're cooking with gas here, guys. I think I kind of like what I'm seeing. I really like what I'm seeing. I mean, yeah, actually, it looks great. Let's select it again. And we're going to copy it like we copied the last time. We're going to paste it, but instead of doing a horizontal flip, we're going to do a vertical flip. So that is Control Shift and V. And you can see here, we have now got, wow, already you can start seeing this logo coming together really quickly. Really quickly. I'm loving this. So easy. And again, I've just put that in place by eye. I'm kind of looking here at the logo, I'm going to select both. So we've vertically aligned it, so we know. And I'm starting to look at the shape in here. It looks very similar to the shape in here. We've got the space here. I mean, it's a simple logo that really you can see you can just do it with a few tools in Lightburn. Now, the other thing that's really kind of cool about this is we've got these crossovers where the lines are. We don't have them here at all. So let's select both of them. And let's use the Boolean weld tool, which is Control W. And with one move, we have something that is incredibly close. I've done that very quickly. I'm looking at the logo. I'm looking at what's going on here. I could push and pull this a little bit. I'm going to go back really quickly, and I'm going to take it all the way back in. And I want to show you this because this is how quickly you can modify something, even if you've done a whole bunch of steps. I want to actually pull this across just a little bit more. To me, my eye, this space was a little bit short. So let's grab it. Let's go back. And I love doing these sort of things because every time I do it, I'm actually reinforcing how to use these tools. So we've got the piece there. Let's select it. Let's go back to the offset. We've done that. We're going to delete that middle line. Great. Select it, copy it, paste it. Do a vertical mirror. Bring that back. Again, very quickly, you can see. And to me, that's looking, that gap in the middle is what I'm looking for. That's looking really tight, actually. We move them across. It's really subtle. I don't want to say that I'm a perfectionist, but on this sort of stuff, I really enjoy being able to kind of move things around, make sure that they're good. I want to bring this piece, you can see here that it's a little bit tall. So I'm just going to move the piece down using the downward arrow key. And now I'm going to weld it again using the Boolean weld. And now that I'm looking at that, I'm incredibly happy with that. Incredibly happy. That actually, I've done this a few times just to make sure that I've got the workflow worked out before I start presenting it. I really like what's going on there. As a fill, we're going to go and take a look, and you can see that's what will happen if we were to run this as a fill. And really, that is the 5 tools to create that logo. We use the pen tool, the radius tool. We then use the edit node tool, the offset shapes tool. So that's 4. And then the weld tool at the end. Now for a bonus, you don't have to do this because we were using this exercise to create a logo. But as a bonus, we can actually use the text tool. And for the finishing touches, we can write in here, research for a better tomorrow. And we can actually place that low here. And again, that font looks really close. So we're just going to align using the vertical center. And it's close. I can play around with the sizing of this. It's probably a little bit big, so we'll bring it down a little bit. Select both. We'll go for that vertical center again. And, you know, we've got something that is incredibly usable in honor of Douglas Trumbull and his amazing film, Brainstorm. So guys, that's how you can create any sort of logo just using the tools available for you in Lightburn. We were able to make this logo just using the draw line tool, the radius tool, the edit node tool, the offset shapes tool, and the weld shapes tool, taking us to using 5 of the creative tools you can use in Lightburn. And we use the bonus tool, which is the text edit, to just put the logo at the bottom. A really simple and fast way to create logos directly into Lightburn. This is not beyond anyone's ability, and this is a really fun way to be able to stretch your techniques within Lightburn. Looking forward to seeing what other people can create using these 5 tools. It's as simple as that. Using the 5 tools in Lightburn to get creative will level up your Lightburn game and get you the results you're after faster. In fact, I have a little project that I'm dying to run on my laser, so if you want to learn more about what you can do with Lightburn and your laser, check out some of these tutorials right here, and don't forget to come and visit us when we're live with the laser live streams. Till I see you next time, get creative with your laser, stay safe, but most importantly, go make something amazing.